How safe is the food you trust with your life every week? Millions of Americans toss Walmart frozen foods into their carts, believing they're saving money while keeping their families safe. But what if those budget-friendly boxes hide factory secrets that could shatter that trust? The USDA recalled over 145,000 pounds of contaminated chicken in 2022. The CDC linked deadly E. coli to frozen beef patties that same year, hospitalizing 22 people and taking one life in Michigan. And that's just the news we know about. How many quiet recalls never reached you? How many smiling logos are hiding fillers, bacteria, or worse, human suffering and animal cruelty sealed neatly in plastic? Ask yourself, are you really feeding your family or gambling with their health just to save a few dollars? Because what we uncovered inside Walmart's frozen food supply chain will make you question every bite. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 Walmart frozen foods you should never trust. Number 1. Great Value Frozen Chicken Strips. A bag of Great Value frozen chicken strips has a way of winking at you from the freezer aisle, like a friendly neighbor saying, "Go on, you've earned a break." Toss it in the cart, heat it up, and you feel like you've outsmarted the kitchen. Why not? No sweating over a stove, no wallet-draining takeout. Such a comforting thought after a day when your back already feels like it's been through a boxing match. Walmart plays this game well, dressing it up with commercials of happy families, whispering sweet nothings about affordable meals for America. It's the kind of trust you'd give someone who borrows sugar and returns the cup brimming with cookies. But what if that same neighbor slipped broken razor blades into those cookies and handed them back with a grin? That is not even exaggeration. That's exactly what the USDA revealed in 2022. A Class 1 recall yanked over 145,000 pounds of these strips off shelves for metal contamination. Metal, hidden in the breading like landmines waiting for your teeth. One Ohio woman shattered a tooth so badly she needed emergency dental care, and others reported sliced gums and bleeding mouths. The USDA didn't bother sugarcoating it reasonable probability of serious adverse health consequences or death. Tell me, is saving a few bucks worth gambling with a mouthful of metal? And this wasn't just a one-hit horror story. Roll back to 2019, when Tip Top Poultry, one of Walmart's trusted suppliers, was exposed for listeria contamination in more than 4 million pounds of frozen poultry. Guess whose brand name popped up on that list? Walmart didn't exactly run through the streets waving red flags. No, they slipped out a quiet press statement, the corporate version of whispering oops while sweeping broken glass under the carpet. It's a bit like someone selling you a car with no brakes and saying, "Just drive carefully, you'll be fine." The ugliness doesn't stop at what's in the bag, it drips from the very walls of the factories where these strips are made. A Human Rights Watch investigation in 2021 painted a grim picture: workers freezing in meat lockers for 12-hour shifts, hands so numb from endless handling of frozen meat that some lost feeling permanently, bathroom breaks treated like a luxury, and punishments for those too sick to keep up. Imagine standing on that line, treated worse than the conveyor belt beside you. At least the belt gets greased now and then. So the next time your chicken tastes a little salty, maybe it's not the seasoning, maybe it's the sweat of someone forced to work faster and cheaper than their body can handle, and just when you think you can drown this all in ketchup and move on. Consumer Reports in 2023 dropped another little gift: these strips pack nearly double the sodium of similar brands. A sneaky threat for anyone already keeping a nervous eye on their blood pressure. So, family friendly, more like the guy who hands you a smiling sales pitch for a used car while knowing the brakes are shot. But you do have better choices, and they don't have to cost an arm and a leg. Purdue Harvestland frozen chicken strips. Though pricier, consistently test cleaner and come from USDA certified organic plants. Aldi's Kirkwood tenders scored higher in state safety tests and keep prices closer to what wallets can handle. Or take the old school route: buy fresh chicken thighs from local farmers, bread them yourself, freeze them flat in Ziploc bags, and trust only what you can see with your own eyes. It takes a little more time, but at least you'll know you're eating chicken, not spinning the wheel on a game of guess what's in the breading. So next time that blue and white bag stares back at you from the freezer, ask yourself, do you really want dinner? Or are you just letting Walmart deal you another bad hand while smiling all the way to the bank? Number 2. Great Value Frozen Lasagna. lasagna should feel like a warm hug. The kind of meal that makes a tired evening feel special, like you've treated your family to something close to restaurant quality without draining your wallet. Sliding a frozen lasagna into the oven feels almost noble, a quiet victory for anyone stretching every grocery dollar. Walmart knows exactly how to sell that story. Their commercials show steaming plates, glowing kitchens, and smiling grandkids. The message: this is love, and you're doing right by your family. But what if that picture-perfect love story is nothing but a cheap magic trick? Because in 2021, the National Advertising Division called Walmart out for misleading labels on several frozen items, lasagna included, for boasting about real cheese and premium beef. Investigations by Food Safety News that same year told a much darker tale. Great value frozen lasagna was found to contain up to 30% soy filler masquerading as beef. And that real mozzarella often turned out to be imitation cheese built from vegetable oil and modified starch. Let's be honest, that's not a homemade meal. That's a science lab experiment dressed up in marinara sauce. And before you shrug it off as just cheap ingredients, think again. Soy protein isolate, one of the main fillers, has been flagged in medical studies for messing with hormone balance, especially dangerous for anyone taking thyroid medication. And those fake cheeses, they're not just bland, they're often laced with palm oil and carrageenan, both linked to gut inflammation and increased heart risks. So, while Walmart's commercials beam with happy family dinners, the reality might be closer to serving your loved ones greasy cardboard sprinkled with health problems. The way this mess happened might be even worse than the ingredients themselves. A leaked memo, reported by Reuters in 2022, exposed Walmart pressuring suppliers to reduce protein costs by reformulating frozen meals. Translation: slash the beef. Add cheap fillers. Keep the pretty picture on the box. Some of these same suppliers, while not confirmed guilty here, were fined in Europe years ago for mislabeling horse meat as beef during the 2013 scandal. Think about that for a second. Even if there's no horse meat in your lasagna, what does it say when Walmart is still doing business with companies willing to play those kinds of games? And if you think at least you're getting a good deal for cutting corners. Consumer Reports dropped another bomb in 2023. Walmart's so-called family-size lasagna was, on average, 20% smaller than competitors at the same price. One reviewer joked, "It's like throwing a dinner party and realizing you've only got enough for the kids' table, for folks counting every dollar." That's not just a disappointment, it's a slap in the face. Even Walmart customers themselves aren't fooled anymore. Scroll through reviews on Walmart's site or threads on Reddit and you'll find complaint after complaint about slimy texture, pools of orange grease, and unidentifiable chewy bits hiding under the sauce. One Texas retiree even posted a photo of what she called a chunk of cartilage the size of a quarter. Walmart's answer: the same canned line about meeting all quality standards, which feels about as sincere as a used car salesman telling you to trust the rattle under the hood. So, what's the better play here? Stauffer's lasagna with meat and sauce, though pricier, consistently wins for actual beef content and taste. Aldi's Mamakazi's lasagna, praised by Good Housekeeping in 2024, uses real mozzarella and keeps its portions honest without stretching the truth. Or you could make it yourself: boil noodles. Layer jarred marinara with cooked ground beef and shredded cheese, then freeze it in portions. It takes a little more work, but at least you'll know you're feeding your family food, not whatever Walmart managed to stuff into a tray while calling it love. So when that glossy box smiles back at you from the freezer aisle, think twice: is it really dinner for your family, or just Walmart selling you cheap oil and soy dressed up as affection? Number 3. Great value frozen mixed vegetables. A bag of frozen mixed vegetables feels like the easiest kind of good choice. You grab it almost proudly, the way you might feel swapping fries for a salad or taking the long way home just to stretch your legs. Walmart knows how to stroke that little spark of self-satisfaction, wrapping it in cheerful packaging and slogans about healthy, affordable choices for every family. For anyone carefully counting every dollar, especially retirees stretching Social Security checks, it feels like doing right by your body without letting fresh produce rot in the fridge. The message is cozy, almost motherly. We care about your health. But what kind of mother serves you dinner while ignoring the cockroaches crawling across the stove? Because that's what it starts to feel like when you look closer. In 2023, The FDA issued multiple warnings after pesticide residue levels exceeded legal limits in frozen vegetables processed by Growers Express, a major Walmart supplier, and while Walmart reassured everyone about meeting all safety standards, a leaked internal memo cited by Bloomberg painted a different picture. Walmart allegedly pushed suppliers to meet volume quotas at any cost, including sourcing cheaper imports from India and China, where pesticide regulations are notoriously lax. This isn't just about numbers on a lab sheet. The health risks are painfully real. Back in 2018, a CDC report linked a listeria outbreak from frozen vegetables produced by Growers Express to 9 hospitalizations and 1 death in Maryland. Walmart sold some of that contaminated stock, yet customers reported learning about the recall only through obscure online notices because nothing spoils the healthy. Low-cost image quite like the word fatal stamped on a store sign, and let's not pretend the journey from farm to freezer is spotless. A Los Angeles Times investigation in 2022 revealed that some California fields supplying Walmart's frozen produce were irrigated with wastewater runoff from nearby livestock operations, raising serious concerns about E. coli contamination. But with Walmart relying on underfunded inspection teams that only test random batches instead of every shipment, how much of that risk ever gets caught? The ethical side of this story is just as grim. Investigative reporting by The Guardian uncovered that suppliers in Southeast Asia providing peas and corn for Walmart's store brand mixes had children as young as 12 working long shifts and freezing plants for pennies an hour. Walmart's response: the same old PR line about working to improve supply chain oversight, which sounds about as sincere as someone telling you they're working on it while sweeping dirt under the rug. There are better ways to fill your plate without rolling the dice on chemicals. Bird's Eye Steam Fresh consistently tests lower for pesticide residue and scores higher in taste panels. Aldi's Simply Nature organic frozen vegetables are USDA organic, certified, and often comparable in price, offering tighter sourcing standards. Or, if you can spare an hour, buy fresh produce from local farmers markets, blanch it lightly, and freeze it yourself. Real peace of mind doesn't come in a bag stamped with the cheapest price tag. So the next time those bright little peas and carrots smile back at you from a Walmart freezer, ask yourself, are they really helping you stay healthy? Or are they just the cheapest way to sell you a plate of pesticides dressed up as nutrition number 4? Great value frozen shrimp. Frozen shrimp feels like a little luxury for people who don't get many chances to indulge. Tossing a bag of great value frozen shrimp into the cart almost feels like sneaking into the world of fancy seafood dinners without handing over half a paycheck. Walmart sells it like a dream, a taste of the ocean. Clean, fresh, and just special enough to feel like you're giving your family something rare, for many on tight budgets. It's meant to feel like you're not missing out on life's small joys, but that so-called taste of the ocean might be closer to swamp water stirred with a stick. In 2022, an investigation by the Associated Press exposed that Walmart suppliers in Thailand and Vietnam were tied to shrimp farms using animal waste. Yes, pig and chicken feces as feed in shrimp ponds. FDA testing from that same year didn't make it any prettier. Batches of imported shrimp under the Great Value label were flagged for high levels of Vibrio bacteria, a nasty culprit behind foodborne illnesses that can be deadly for older adults. Walmart's statement that its shrimp meets all regulatory standards sounded hollow, especially when the FDA issued repeated import alerts against suppliers connected to Walmart's shipments. The real stomach turner isn't just bacteria. It's the human suffering tucked inside those plastic bags. A 2023 investigation by The Guardian revealed brutal labor abuses in Southeast Asian shrimp processing plants. Workers beaten, trapped, and forced to peel shrimp for up to 16 hours a day. Walmart was listed among major U.S. retailers sourcing from these chains, so when you scoop that bag into your cart, you're not just buying seafood, you're swallowing a moral cost most people would never agree to if they saw it up close. And even if you ignore how it's farmed, the way Walmart handles it once it arrives in stores is its own horror story. NBC News reported in 2021 that frozen seafood shipments often sat on loading docks for hours, sometimes more than a full day. Because of understaffed storage teams, former employees admitted watching temperature gauges climb above FDA-recommended levels, while managers pressured them to shove everything back into freezers instead of discarding stock. One worker even joked, "If you can still smell the ocean, it's fine. That might sound funny until you realize it's a confession that some shrimp were already teetering on the edge of spoiling if you needed another reason to hesitate. Consumer Reports in 2023 ranked Great Value frozen shrimp among the worst for illegal antibiotic residue. Overseas farms often pump shrimp full of antibiotics to keep disease stock alive long enough to harvest, and repeated consumption builds antibiotic resistance, terrifying news for older Americans already at higher risk for infections. The better path isn't impossible. Wild-caught Gulf shrimp from U.S. fisheries, found at stores like H-E-B or Publix, follow stricter FDA rules and carry far fewer contamination risks. Aldi's Fremont Fish Market wild-caught shrimp, often priced close to Walmart's imports, scored higher for taste and safety in state-level tests, and if you live near the coast. Buying fresh shrimp from local markets and freezing portions yourself is easier than you think. Rinse, pat dry, and freeze in a single layer for convenient meals. Number 5. Great Value frozen breakfast sandwiches. Breakfast sandwiches are supposed to be a small morning victory, the kind that makes you feel like you're starting the day on the right foot without breaking your back or your wallet. Walmart knows exactly how to play that card. Their ads show cozy kitchens, steamy mugs of coffee, and smiling grandparents enjoying a hot sandwich as the sun rises. For people pinching every penny, tossing a box of Great Value frozen breakfast sandwiches into the cart feels like buying a diner breakfast without the bill, the tip, or the grease-splattered frying pan. But behind that cheery picture lurks a truth you won't see in any commercial. In 2020, Bloomberg uncovered internal flags at Walmart distribution centers for rotation manipulation, a polite way of saying workers were ordered to move near-expired frozen products to the front of shelves to clear old inventory. Several former employees confirmed that breakfast sandwiches were repeat offenders, with one whistleblower describing managers who told workers to replace date stickers after power outages caused thaw and refreeze incidents in storage. Walmart denies the practice, of course, but fines from food code violations in Texas and California suggest the evidence speaks louder than corporate PR. And it's not just an expired date trick, it's what happens to food when it's been sitting through those temperature games. A USDA inspection in 2022 of a third-party cold storage supplier revealed that after multiple power fluctuations, temperature logs were either ignored or altered. Thawed and refrozen sandwiches still ended up shrink-wrapped on shelves. A USDA investigator bluntly warned, once food thaws and refreezes, its safety is a gamble. But Walmart gambled for you, and those sandwiches still smiled at you from the freezer aisle like nothing happened. What you're biting into isn't exactly the hearty breakfast you think it is, either. Consumer Reports in 2023 tested Great Value breakfast sandwiches and found some batches contained only 8 to 10% real egg, bulked up with soy protein, isolate and rehydrated egg powder. The sausage patties. A paste made from mechanically separated meat, a technical way of saying it's scraps and connective tissue, ground into something shaped like food. So while the box proudly announces real eggs and sausage, what you're really buying might have more in common with a cheap frozen dinner than a proper breakfast. Customers aren't staying silent. On Consumer Affairs and Walmart's own review sections, complaints pile up about sour, freezer-burned flavors. One Florida customer posted a photo of mold spots under the cheese layer. Despite the sandwich being within its expiration date, Walmart refunded her, but no broader warning or recall was issued. After all, warning everyone doesn't look good next to that smiling yellow logo. The truth. You don't have to settle for mystery meat and stale eggs. Jimmy Dean's breakfast sandwiches consistently rank higher in taste and portion consistency, and while they cost a bit more, at least you're getting what the label promises. Aldi's Breakfast Best line was crowned Best Value for Safety and Taste by Good Housekeeping in 2024, offering a cleaner option for tight budgets. And if you want to take control, cooking scrambled eggs in muffin tins, freezing them, and assembling your own sandwiches with English muffins and sausage patties takes less than an hour. You'll spend less over time and know exactly what's inside. Number 6. Great Value frozen yogurt bars. Frozen yogurt bars are sold as the guilt-free dessert, the little treat that whispers, "You're making a smart choice." Walmart pushes that idea hard by packaging, cheerful families enjoying creamy bars, and promises of being a healthy choice for your lifestyle. For retirees watching their weight or carefully managing diabetes, Great Value frozen yogurt bars feel like a safe way to indulge, the kind of snack that pats you on the back and says, "Go ahead, you deserve it." But that friendly pat might be more of a shove into trouble. In 2021, a class action lawsuit in California accused Walmart of false advertising after lab tests showed certain flavors contained 22 grams of sugar per serving, almost the same as a Haagen-Dazs ice cream bar. Walmart quietly settled without admitting fault, but the following year the packaging changed. A silent confession in its own way, and sugar isn't the only danger. In 2023, the FDA received multiple reports of severe allergic reactions linked to undeclared peanut and tree nut cross-contamination. A 70-year-old Arizona man went into anaphylactic shock after eating a vanilla swirl bar labeled nut-free, his family told local reporters. He trusted the label. And it nearly killed him. The worst part, leaked emails published by Business Insider revealed Walmart executives debated limiting recalls to affected regions to avoid unnecessary panic. Translation: protecting profits mattered more than pulling unsafe bars off shelves. Weeks passed before some stores removed contaminated stock, even if you dodge allergens and sugar spikes. The healthy part is mostly marketing fluff. Consumer Reports' 2024 Frozen Dessert Guide ranked Great Value frozen yogurt bars near the bottom for probiotic content, with lab tests showing almost no live cultures despite claims of supports gut health. In short, you're buying candy on a stick pretending to be yogurt. Customers feel the sting of that betrayal on Reddit's Walmart's own site. Angry reviews pile up. "This isn't yogurt, it's candy, and my blood sugar spiked like I ate a donut." For older Americans relying on labels to manage real health conditions, that's more than disappointment, it's a slap in the face. If you want the real deal, Yasso Greek yogurt bars consistently test lower in sugar and deliver actual probiotics. Available at Costco or Kroger for similar prices. Aldi's Simply Nature organic frozen bars are cheaper. Certified non-GMO option, or make your own blend Greek yogurt with fresh berries. Freeze in silicone molds, and enjoy a true probiotic-rich treat without Walmart's sugar-coated lies. Number 7. Great Value frozen beef patties. Frozen beef patties should be the symbol of a simple, honest American meal. Walmart sells that idea, perfectly ads of juicy burgers on backyard grills, families laughing, and the promise of quality beef for family moments. For people on tight budgets, especially older Americans, a box of Great Value patties feels like a ticket to that tradition without paying diner prices. But behind that smiling promise is a reality few want to picture. In 2020, an undercover Mercy for Animals investigation exposed horrifying abuse at Walmart-linked beef suppliers, cattle electroshocked, kicked, and left with open wounds, some dragged across concrete while workers laughed. Walmart condemned the footage but never cut ties with 2 suppliers named in the report. That cheap burger has a hidden cost, paid in suffering. The risks don't stop at animal cruelty. A 2021 Missouri lawsuit accused a Walmart-contracted slaughterhouse of processing down her cattle too sick to walk despite federal bans. Records confirmed meat from that facility entered Great Value production lines. Sick cattle are more likely to carry pathogens like E. coli 0157H7. That danger became real in 2022 when the CDC linked an E. coli outbreak to frozen patties sold by several retailers, Walmart included. 22 people were hospitalized, and 1 died in Michigan. Walmart pulled batches quietly, posting updates on obscure online pages instead of issuing a clear public recall. Even the label can't be trusted. Consumer Reports' 2023 beef audit found some Great Value patties labeled all beef contained up to 12% soy and textured vegetable protein fillers. For older consumers with soy allergies, that isn't just misleading, it's dangerous. Customers feel cheated. Reviews complain about patties shrinking to half their size and tasting like spongy mystery meat. One retired veteran from Kentucky wrote, "I'd rather eat my boots, they taste like regret." Better options exist. Aldi's Simply Nature organic grass-fed patties ranked higher for taste and safety in Good Housekeeping's 2024 review. And forming patties from fresh butchered beef takes minutes. Next time you see those neatly stacked boxes, ask yourself, are you buying dinner, or are you buying into cruelty? fillers, and silence wrapped in a cheap logo. Your health. Your choice. Don't trust smiling logos demand truth. Subscribe now and uncover what they're hiding from your table.
Thank you for watching today's video all the way through. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay updated to our latest daily videos. Now feel free to check out other featured videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.